Hello everyone and welcome to another SpyParty Masters Championship competitive cast. I am Corvus Mallory and I'm joined by my co-caster Spedmonkey.
Hello, good evening.
And with us is also Grash on the analyst desk.
Hey everybody.
We have got a match today in the lower group in Champions Round Robin. It's between Nebula and Lev. Lev, of course, having made appearances on the stream in the Challengers bracket, having gone up against Grash and Adafayesh and earned a place in the Champions group. And Nebula, of course, having won the Summer Cup, earning him third seed in SpyParty Masters, and having already taken match wins over Rav and Ligor of Janine. So in what I think a lot of people have been calling the most historically stacked group in SpyParty history, Nebula has already taken 2 match wins and is poised to secure an undefeated record in the group. But Lev, of course, just coming off 2 wins of his own in Challengers, player who's considered to have a very high skill ceiling, and is certainly someone who's going to give Nebula a run for his money in this group, and someone who, I think all the players in this group, people have been saying, have some chance of making their way out and into the Champions bracket. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about these players and what we might expect to see from them, but Grash, why don't you take us through a little bit of these players' history, play style, what we can expect, and why don't we start off with Nebula?
Nebula, I think you've given a wonderful introduction there. A 2-time seasonal cup winner, and most recently with the Summer Cup. And I think just having come off of defeating Rav, the SCL7 champion, right, and Ligor, these are 2 of the best players probably of all time in SpyParty. I think is really a scary force to be reckoned with. Nebula here has a very interesting playstyle. I'd say that, in my opinion, he's currently the best spy in the game. Really comes up with a lot of creative, interesting ways to hide fingerprints or mission progress, doing microfilms in odd places, just lots of interesting, inventive stuff that's unexpected. And I think the kind of thing that's exactly what you need in order to win spy games at this high of a level. And so I expect to see plenty of that, like always with Nebula. Nebula also, on the sniper side, has been very solid recently, very consistent, which is what you need to see, when you're hoping for Nebula to sweep, and has been there lately. And the other thing that's interesting about Nebula is a very strong camper, but also very strong with pathing and etiquette knowledge too. And I'd say second only to Martini in pathing knowledge. And so I think can really pull that out and use it when it's relevant and helpful. And so, both these matches against the Gorv and Rav that Nebula just won were pretty close, both like 9-7 victories. I had some spy wins in there. So I'm interested to see if Lev can pull through. But first, why don't we watch a clip that I picked for Nebula. So I wanted to showcase a little bit with Nebula Spy. So we're in a very interesting spot. This is his game against Rav. And essentially what's happened so far in this game, right now the score is tied between him and Rav. And very early on in this game, he had gone statue to statue, like finished statues at 3:30. And it's mostly just idled, had just been at bookcase and did, innocent return. And so we're in a position right now, our ST left, and we need to figure out how to win the game. And so what I think is interesting here is that Nebula goes for a third inspect and actually sets up a swap, but Rav actually lowlights him because he's acted so much not like a spy. This is a third inspect visit. He completed statues very early. And so even against Rav, who doesn't typically take a lot of behavioral lowlights, Nebula manages to get one. And so, and with a strong, green AT rate here, finishes his flirt and goes for a contact. So I think it would have been very interesting, right? Or it wouldn't have been very interesting, right? I think the typical way the Lost Spies might have finished this game would have been to just go for a purloin back in that conversation, hope to finish, their flirt somehow. But Nebula goes for this really blatant swap at a statue that is not typically a great swap statue, and manages to pull a game over Rav, who's like one of the strongest snipers currently, arguably the strongest sniper. So I think Nebula on the spy side is really a scary thing to reckon with, and I'm excited to see some of those games today. And so we can move on to talking a little bit more about Lev. So Lev, I think, this is going to be an uphill battle for Lev, but has shown that they can perform at a really high level. Lev, I think, more of a player that on the sniper side is etiquette focused, especially like when players are doing flirts at mission sites before doing the mission, like at bookcase and statues, really hates that. So I'd be interested to see if Nebula is watching for that, is being careful about that, because I think Lev, if you don't respect him and don't respect the etiquette there, will really hate you and might shoot you for it. But on the spy side also is, good at just doing stuff. And so I wanted to show off a clip from that too. It's another Disney clip actually. And so this is on his game against the Dafeyesh. We're here in Modern. At this point, Lev is actually up 6-3, and doesn't need to do a lot in order to, hopefully close out this set. But essentially, where we're at right now, not much has happened in this game. But then he just goes for this direct transfer. He just goes for it. There's not a ton of cover. There's a little bit of civilian movement going on, but the master is actually safe. And I feel like it's such an unexpected time to go for this microfilm direct transfer that it just works. And so, Lev, I think, will just go for plays like this, just try to get mission progress. And I think it serves him well. And I really like how he set up this, this entry into Mission Wing Countdown. And so we join here, we finish our flirt. And then we're going to go for this very fun, BB into Purloin. And I think Lev, confident that Dafeyesh doesn't have this direct transfer, is willing to go for this direct Purloin and challenge the sniper, are you going to shoot me in time? And figure this out. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see. Nebula, I think, a sniper who may be able to figure this kind of thing out if you give him the opportunity. But I think Lev often comes up with these really cool plays to end the game and just goes for mission progress in unexpected times. And so the other things that I think are interesting, right? So Nebula, I forgot to mention, also really, because of that pathing and etiquette knowledge, can go for kind of aggressive lowlights. But in both of these games, both with Logorov and with Rav, was able to shoot a lowlight right at the end of the game, just knowing that they're the only person who could have been the spy and still watching his lowlights. So I think if Nebula gets some lowlights, not the end of the game, if he manages to lowlight the spy. And Nebula, I think, with that pathing knowledge, more likely to be picking Aquarium, had doubled it already once, and I think Logorov had banned it, but I think if he didn't ban it, he might double it again, just because there's so much pathing and etiquette and interesting knowledge on Aquarium that he could take advantage of. For Lev's a real Redwoods lover, so I'd expect to see him pick Redwoods if he can. There's some really fun replays with Lev doing cool spy stuff on Redwoods, so if we see it, that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, why don't we go into our draft?
All right, well, let's get the draft up here. These players, we do see the bans onto Tayen and Redwoods. We see the restrictions onto Courtyard and Modern. The doubled venues will be Aquarium for Nebula and Veranda for Lev. Singles are Courtyard and Modern, the two restricts, followed by Library and Balcony.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys think. I'm not surprised to see the Aquarium double from Nebula, and maybe Nebula too, fearing Lev's Redwoods play. I think it's very interesting seeing Courtyard picked. I don't think we've seen a lot of Courtyard so far because it's the very interesting 3-of variant. I think for Nebula picking it here, I think he's really challenging Lev and his sniper and saying, I think I'm going to be behaviorally going to be able to figure this out more consistently than you can.
I think the real unexpected thing about this draft is that Nebula didn't go for Gallery at all. I mean, historically, Gallery has always been one of Nebula's comfort picks, and he's even doubled it in both of his matches so far in SMC. So letting it get past and just not picking it at all is kind of an upset here.
I think for me, looking at this, if I were Lev, I would be very worried about this Aquarium double from Nebula. That seems like the kind of place where Nebula is going to have a lot of free reign to do the things he wants, and Lev had better have come prepared. Now, I don't think this Aquarium double will be a surprise for Lev, so I'm guessing he did come prepared, but that is something that I'm quite nervous about. And then on the other side of the draft, the Veranda double from Lev also makes me nervous, just because historically, most winning players in SMC have gotten at least 3 games on their double. I think maybe all of them, actually. I think maybe we had one game that went 2-2 and 2-2. But if you're not coming away from your double with an advantage, it's very hard. And Veranda has been a venue that's very hard to get any advantage on. It has been extremely sniper favored. I think it's something like 17% or 18% spy wins. So going to be a lot of work for Lev to do on Veranda to come out of this in a good place for halftime. The other thing I'll notice about this draft is I think this might be the first draft in SMC that does not feature either a gallery or ballroom pick.
Yeah, that is kind of strange to see. I mean, I highlighted the gallery earlier because, as I said, that's Nebula's sort of comfort pick. But not seeing ballroom's a surprise as well, especially with 2 players who sort of are creative and willing to take plays when they're presented. Ballroom has a lot of those moments in pretty much every game, and not seeing either of them take advantage and instead go to things like, well, balcony or 3 or 7 courtyard is not what you would expect to see from these players. But I think both of them also have done their research and are making the picks that they clearly feel that they have an edge on versus their opponent, and just didn't really get that feel for either gallery or ballroom in this case.
All right, well, let's go to the predictions. Of course, the last step before we actually get into the game. I mean, coming to these predictions, for me, it's going to be very hard to bet against Nebula. Nebula has been in outstanding form so far in SMC. I mean, having taken wins over Legorv and Rav, it's hard to take wins over Legorv and Rav and then put anyone else in front of him and say, like, well, maybe this person will beat him. You know, I have a huge respect for Lev coming through challengers. I have huge respect for the growth that Lev has shown over the last year or 18 months in terms of his play. I think he's improved a lot as a player, and the results that he's have are a testament to that. But I mean, in this match, I'm gonna have to go with the Nebula prediction, and it's going to be 11-5.
You know, it's funny. I'll just start off by saying spoilers. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, look, no disrespect to Lev, but Nebula has looked like an absolute juggernaut in this set. And the book on Lev especially is that he's very prone to tilting, especially if early things don't go his way. And just based on the way that this draft has played out especially, this feels like a recipe for one of those sort of situations where if he can't keep his emotions under control, like getting cheesed on an Aquarium or getting some sort of goofy pathing shot from Aquarium, or maybe perhaps even just not managing to win a sniper game on Veranda, could very easily set off that sort of slow avalanche and could really see things just sort of snowball into an untenable situation, an unwinnable situation fairly early on. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm going 11-5 Nebula, and I certainly hope it's closer.
Yeah, I also am gonna give this one most likely to Nebula. I think Lev may have it in him on a really good day, but I think it's pretty hard to predict against Nebula, beating Rav and Legorov, like you two both just mentioned. Both those games were pretty close. They were both 9-7. I think that this game, I suspect won't be extremely unclose either. I will go 10-6.
Okay.
I do think the draft favors Nebula as well. So
those are your predictions. Grash, thank you so much. We'll see you back here at halftime. But the time has come for us to move into the game itself. Nebula will be starting off on the spy side, playing as Irish, and Lev on the sniper side. Spedmonkey, you ready to go?
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, so in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And it looks like Nebula going to be starting off with the top shark. and taking a quick peek to make sure that he knows what he's working with. You saw that instantly as the game started. We land far away from our seduction target, 17% white flirt, double checking the shark, looking around, Nebula taking in the party, and I think already building a plan.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as has been said at this point ad nauseum, Aquarium is one of those venues where really sort of a preset plan can be much more viable than on most, just because you have the knowledge of where the shark is going to be at preset times. So while there certainly is place for more spontaneous plays, a big part of what makes Aquarium Aquarium is the potential for those sort of more set pieces, as it were. This right here, though, we get a second bite at the apple, and we miss both of the bug attempts behind the shark.
Yeah, really unfortunate that neither one of those take. The ambassador comes in and then leaves again. The ambassador, not Taft, by the way. I believe it's the Disney ambassador that we're dealing with here. But, okay. And they're all behind sharks, so Nebula does not appear to have been shot. So you like to see that. Instead, it's going to be bookcase. It's going to be bookcase behind shark. And we're starting this off with a little bit of an early transfer. It's mostly hidden. And that is microfilm in pocket.
The head turn was a little bit visible at the end of the shark going by from the sniper point of view, but it doesn't look like Lev at least paying too much attention to it, or at least not demonstrating any attention to it at this point. So we have that microfilm in pocket. We still have a long way to go here with only that first far white flirt to start things off, so we are going to have to prioritize some flirt. But this is not a bad place for a banana bread either. Just our seduction target and boots out, it looks like. So Nebula could certainly just decide, you know what, let's just get this in our pocket and move on at this point.
Yeah, I would not mind at all. Now seduction target's in as well. We do lose the other twin in recompense, but Nebula decides it's not the time. Still 2 minutes left in the game, and we are moving out, chasing the seduction target around.
That was not a legal bounce, but Nebula not caring. Going back to books, I think there's a print here. If we can beat Salmon to it.
Oh, we do.
There it is. We do. That's a fresh print. And we have, look at all this partial progress.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, Aquarium, even more than most, is a place where having options is extremely useful. And look at this now. We have got the ambassador leaving a print at bar. We've got Nebula in center conversation picking up more flirt progress. That's a white test to 51. The print is going to get smudged at bar, but Nebula with the print in pocket is going to have plenty of opportunities to find another print on Aquarium.
Yeah, the other thing is, of course, the time is ticking down here. We're down to almost a minute left. We still need another flirt, and we're kind of just chilling here, despite that having taken place. And this isn't Taean, where there's so much mission density. Like, you certainly can finish in the flurry if everything lines up. But again, this is not a place where sort of those set pieces really lend themselves to doing multiple missions all very quickly, unless statues are involved. And we don't have any statue progress yet.
You have to imagine at this point that we're kind of setting up for some kind of transfer shark walk at the end with this microfilm in the pocket and the clock ticking down so low. The question becomes, though, like, how are we even going to get in a place where that's possible with 35 seconds left on the clock? We're going into statues. This is interesting. We could pick up a pair of inspects, but that's going to be about it. And a print! There's a print here!
Yeah, but even so, we still need another mission.
How about a swap?
There's the swap, but I don't know what happened there. Did Nebula think that he had 3 missions done already?
I mean, surely not. We must know that there's no contact. But, yeah, I mean, just a swap out in the open from Nebula. We talked,
and a red swap at that.
You know, I know Grosh talked about Nebula just being the kind of spy that's going to take progress and dare the sniper to notice it. And okay, I mean, if you get that pass in the first game, that could be a bit of a statement, but Lev is here to play, not going to let that by, and Lev picks up the first sniper game heading into his spy game, playing as Alice. Nebula now on the sniper side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I mean, that very well could have been sort of a swap contact finish attempt, but execution may be lacking a little bit, as Lev goes into books here to start things off. We're not going to have shark cover here, unless we're willing to really cook this book for a very, very long time. So this is going to have to come out, unless we're just sort of, yeah, well, it does come out. And we're not going, oh, we take a long path around into the flirt instead.
Yeah, this is still going to be a decent flirt. Here it comes, 48%. Oh no, not quite really decent. And that means Lev is locked into a 3 flirt. We've got 3 minutes 20 on the clock. We have a book in hand, and there may not have been that much attention paid to that book take. I think if Lev cooks this for another minute or minute and a half, he has a chance of getting it back into blue. It's not the kind of thing you want to bet on Aquarium, but I mean, you got to make some kind of play, and I think Lev is willing to try.
Well, this is a place where if you can get a good bug buy, you could certainly just do... Well, never mind, as we're going to pick up this print instead. But I was going to say, this is a place where you could, in theory, just get a good bug, a banana bread flirt, and then just slam the book and do a shark walk something or other at the very end. We see some lowlights coming out, though, on that left conversation circle.
Yeah, that's interesting. We get a print off of this book. This is quite the play. We put the book in and then I think took the book back out to get the print. So nice move from Lev, being aware that that was a possibility. Thinking, wow, I really wish I could get that print, but I have a book in hand. Oh, wait, I can just go to the bookcase and kind of put a book in, take a book out, and hope the sniper doesn't notice. We missed a pad, we cheesed a book. It doesn't matter. None of that's noticed by Nebula, evidently. And now we have a fingerprint in pocket with the ambassador at blue shelves. Now the question is, will Lev be willing to go to 2 bookcases on Aquarium and not do transfer just to pick up the fingerprints? I think the answer might be no.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time to find another fingerprint somewhere in this venue at some point in this game. There's the 99%, as we're punished for the first 48%, unfortunately. But I am a little bit surprised. So the book on Lev was always that his sniper was his spy, was kind of slow. And he leaned very hard on his sniping to really sort of win sets. So seeing that sort of interesting fingerprint play, very nice to see here. But the speed is still worrying me. We have that one print, we need one more flirt to go, and we're under 100 seconds now, under 90 seconds even. We still have a long ways to finish things off.
Ambassador goes back to blue. So there's the statue on the back, the print on the back statue is available. But again, I don't think Lev wants to go to that bookcase, so we're just waiting for this timer flirt to happen. There it is. That will, of course, finish. We could still use a contact, but the double agent is now going to be over at statues. At bar, walking then out doing the briefcase. So Lev, I'm not sure what our plan is to finish, but we have to do something.
Yeah, I mean, we have flirt down, which is all well and good, but we haven't moved from this conversation circle. The ambassador's not going to pass by and give us a free reverse drive-by attempt. Lev is going to have to take some action here, and it looks like we finally are going to. Going into bar? No, going into another empty conversation, or another meaningless conversation circle, rather.
We're not going to get any kind of bug set up. The double agent leaves conversation again. Lev hoping she comes in, and she does. I mean, this has to be the contact, but 24 seconds left. I'm not sure how much is going to help. There's the contact. It will knock out Teal. That will be the only low light. Plenty of reels. And we've split from this conversation going into back statues. Now, there's still a print here, so that'll be prints done. And then it has to be swapped. It has to be the only thing. Yeah. Do we get the print? No, it's a red test! No, and there's the swap.
We swap anyway,
Nebula
but this is a loss regardless.
Oh, it's
Nebula
not gonna
staring
matter.
it down. Yeah, time expires. Nebula was winning regardless, but the shot comes off for good measure.
I mean, the print is a good idea here. It's a shame we didn't have an inspect, because it looks like Nebula didn't really want to shoot if there was no swap there. If we'd picked up an inspect somewhere earlier in the game and we were idling, maybe a couple more chances, but for now, the snipers hold it down. 1-1, hey, on Nebula's double.
Yeah, good start so far for both players.
That means we will be heading into Nebula's second spy game, playing as Kane. Lev on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I do like, though, that Lev was willing to essentially risk the entire game on hitting a difficult fingerprint. We've seen before, as Nebula cheese flirts right off the bat, as he often does. We've seen that really good spies really have to trust their green rates and trust their ability to hit those clutch plays. And even if you miss it sometimes, which you will sometimes, you have to be able to do that to get spy wins past players of Nebula's caliber as we go for another green microfilm here.
Yeah, there's just, Nebula is focused on other things, and I just don't, Lev is focused on other things. I don't think he sees Nebula's transfer.
No, and we had some shark cover there as well. It wasn't the full from the sniper point of view, but it was enough to sort of at least obfuscate the movement, as the double agent comes to join us as well. And early contact here, not the worst in the world. We let off 4 lowlights, but especially if one of these comes back to a conversation circle right now, never mind. I stand corrected.
All right, well, we will finish the flirt. So we have that going for us at least. And hey, 3 minutes left on Aquarium. Microfilm and pocket and flirt done. I mean, that's pretty good pacing at this point. You can't be too upset about that. Lev is having to pay a lot of attention to the ambassador, who's been getting himself into a bit of trouble here and there. General walks by, but with a book in hand. And yeah, the ambassador goes back to another conversation. So Nebula has to be feeling good about most of this, but we are burning some time off the clock. So what is the plan for Nebula, keeping a close eye to the shark? And here comes the ambassador over towards us. There's just been conversation to conversation to conversation with him. But Nebula has been locked in this spot and not showing any interest in moving yet.
Well, the time is not necessary as we do leave. Looks like we are going to microfilm behind the shark right here, right now, as this pass is going to give us, that microfilm cover. So there it is, yep. Completely invisible from Lev's point of view. Lev is just going to have to credit this mission as being done. So that's going to be 2 missions with 2 minutes left to go. We still have the banana bread available to us, and then however we want to finish, we can. Whether that be sharknanigans or just with sort of a Purloin delegate play. It doesn't feel like we have a ton of suspicion at this point. And Nebula has to be feeling pretty good, given that we had cover on both of those microfilms.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you think like, hey, could I just do like a flirt, contact, inspect game? We see so few of them at the high level these days, if I'm being honest. Like hardtail and then the 3 soft, but like at this point, if you think you got the transfer off clean and you can get a decent contact, and here it comes, it's going to knock out 2. I mean, we could just inspect this game out.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you just go statue to statue here?
Statue, yeah.
Because going for like a set swap play at this point, I think against any sniper of this caliber, is going to get you shot a high percentage of the time.
Well, time is ticking down. Yeah, if I were Nebula, I'd want to avoid any kind of shark setups here. And we are... Okay, we're sort of doing that. 55 seconds left, and Nebula's just not making his move.
This could be a Purloin finish. Well, we go in the bar.
We demand.
Question is, this is just going to be a direct take, so we can kind of use the shark as cover here to walk away. We're going to try and duck behind it as it goes. And the question is just going to be on Lev to be quick enough. Lev had a short window there. Lev sees it. Lev's trying to find the shot, but Nebula just riding the shark the whole way as Lev just desperately searching for it. And that is sharknanigans.
Yeah, and that's Nebula's spy win coming off of that game. And okay, I mean, we were saying just inspect swap, don't go for, or just inspect, don't go for a shark setup, that'll get you shot. And how little we knew that in fact the shark setup was the way to go. And yeah, I mean, finding this, again, there'll be replay lag, but you have to have the laser right there before it happens.
Lev recognized, Lev was aware, but just literally a second too late.
Second too late, that's all it takes. And now Nebula with a chance to take the lead on his double. Lev on the spy side trying to answer back with Duke. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, now those are definitely the type of plays that for some snipers can be tilting. So seeing how Lev responds here is going to be sort of a big tell, I think, as far as how the rest of this set might go.
We've seen in this event so far Lev come back from being down early on. I think Lev has put in a lot of work as a player. We get highlight for, I don't know, I'm going to say pathing, I guess. Okay, this comes back down to neutral.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're fine.
Yeah, but I expect Lev is going to be able to keep this under control and continue to play. We saw that earlier in the event. And look at this from Ambassador. I mean, you love to see that.
Yep, absolutely. Lev, though, I am a little bit worried about this pacing once again. We saw in the last game, he really took it down to the last second and had to rely on hitting a green test to even get the mission win countdown. And I don't think he would have won anyway, even if he had hit it. But, like, we're at the point where he's already burned a minute off the clock here with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, we have 0 mission progress. We will leave mid-talk to go to bar, so this has to be some kind of Purloin frame.
Yeah, if so, it's on red dress, absolutely. But this is going to set up a coin flip right away. Yep, there it is. And now if Nebula's paying attention, this party is down to 2 already. And with this early on, with no banana bread, nothing else, now if Nebula is paying attention, we're basically relying on red dress to do enough stuff to get Nebula to shoot the rest of the way.
That's going to have to be. Well, we do take a briefcase quickly, so we are not exactly cooling down as we walk into conversation with the double agent and our seduction target.
It looks though like Nebula is not sure who could have possibly sent. We have all these bar highlights still as highlights, but that's still a fair number of suspects here. So good on Lev to sort of take advantage of the bar rush early on as Nebula's thinking back and finding a couple more lowlights here.
Yeah, and this will be red dress not completing fingerprints. Unfortunately, the ambassador took the book away. Meanwhile, we're here next to our section target. We got one green flirt. We could try to timer flirt to a second one.
We could. The ambassador, if the ambassador stays, which I don't think he will, I was going to say we could try and go for some sort of cheeky little conversation circle bug play, but that is left not going to happen as the ambassador goes back to bookshelves, but that is going to be a print on the blue books as the briefcase goes down as well.
Honestly, I'd much prefer to take this briefcase than to take that book print. Of course, it's obligated for us if we choose to leave, which is nice, but it looks like Boots is going to be the one to do it instead.
And meanwhile, we're down to a minute. All we have is that purloin, half a flirt, one fingerprint. Red dress is helping us out going to statues, but
gets
suddenly red dress gets low lit.
Wow, okay.
And we have to be at the top of the suspect list right now.
Red dress went statue to statue just now as the purloin frame and has been low lit. I mean, that's so gross for Lev. And Lev at this point has to be thinking like, well, I can just go swap for red dress right now and get her shot for sure. Statue. Yep,
yeah,
here we go.
Yep, that's been the game plan this whole way. Here it is, though. It's going to be a visible fade, although Sam is being a bro here and covering it a little bit.
Oh, it covers.
It is a white test. Yep, there is some cover here. The swap is visible.
There's just no
Sam
shot.
picks up a highlight. Yeah. Nebula holding here, not crediting red dress, trusting that low light, and Lev banking on the frame, not going to work out. And Lev is just going to time out here. Nebula with a sick hold.
What a hold. I mean, we can go back here and see what it is that happened to red dress to provoke this low light. But I mean, all we do is walk away.
Yeah, like Nebula just feeling it right now, having none of it.
All right, well that is Nebula picking up that point, and that means that Nebula has won his double of Aquarium. So great job there. And now it's going to be up to Lev to try to do the same thing, but not on Aquarium, but instead on Veranda.
Yeah, that's going to be so tough, just getting that one spy win past Nebula here. Like 2 sniper wins, you'd expect to see basically a sniper party on Veranda, but for either play, the break serve here is going to be a feat.
All right, well, Lev certainly had something in mind when he picked this. Let's see if we get a chance to see what it is soon, but it'll start off with Nebula on the spy side playing as Alice in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We're doing book cheese to start. 100%. Ambassador's in the middle. Toby is still sort of in the middle as well. But we're not going to rip it. Oh, there it goes. Book is out. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, we are not in a hurry to transfer this, it looks like, from Nebula. Oh, no, we're transferring in conversation.
Yeah, look at all that cover, too, from that front conversation circle. Nebula's been putting a lot of focus on microfilms in general throughout SMC, and we're just seeing another example of it here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in this morning's match between Lazy Bear and Sauerkraut, I think something like 7 out of 8. Out of the first 8 games where transfer was available, it was attempted 7 times. Transfer historically has been a fairly unloved mission at the high level, and I mean, today we've just seen that been not the case at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's 2 reasons for that. One is, of course, that because of how unloved it's historically been, the meta has shifted, of course.
Of course.
As Nebula just takes a silly little redirect. But because of that, snipers historically, at least in recent years, have been less likely to be looking for microfilms because spies just don't do it as often. And then the other reason, of course, though, is that spies have just gotten way better at finding tech or finding cheeky places to do those microfilms as well. And of course, the spies that we're seeing here in SMC are the best of the best.
73% now on this flirt, and we are heading in not to do our second animation, and Nebula's starting to take some time off the clock. 2.5 minutes left, half the time gone, and we only have 0 missions done, which is a pretty small number.
Well, there's flirt. I thought that we might get stuck on that one, but we do flirt and time at it as well. The laser drifts very briefly, but no high vector love that's coming off after the white time ad.
Yeah, no sniper movement of any kind. Lev showing his true EU credentials here, waiting for some reason to shift. And look, Nebula's being kept on screen? Well, I was going to say kept on screen. Not so sure anymore, though.
Yeah, Lev is kind of sitting the sniper in, for the most part, in the default spot, able to keep an eye on both sides of the venue. But Nebula's going to take the book out anyway and not do the sort of microfilm in that corner. So Nebula clearly has a spot in mind for finding a more adventurous microfilm animation, shall we say. And it might be here,
Yeah,
with some
I like
cover
it.
at books.
There it is.
There it is.
So much cover.
Yeah, we have cover from Duke, we have cover from Pearls, and especially with Alice, we have that ponytail swinging, but that could mean anything.
And another time ad comes off. This one's green, so that's better. And Nebula now has added 1.5 minutes to this game of Veranda, which could be punishing for a campy sniper like Lev.
Yep, it absolutely can be. Like, you'll notice that there's really nothing narrowed down yet, no lowlights, and a lot of highlights so far. So this is going to be very, very taxing for sure on Lev's memory as this game progresses.
Transfer is going to go in. That will be our second mission done. Now with 2 minutes 20 on the clock. So despite these 2 time ads, we are still kind of only just in a... It doesn't matter! It doesn't matter!
Yep.
Duke takes a shot!
There had to have been, what, a bug and something else phantomed.
Yeah, I'm not sure what would
Because
have been
there's no
provoked
banana
here.
bread. There's no banana bread. Duke had to have been credited for so many missions for the shot to come off there.
Yeah, maybe just a phantom swap?
I don't know. I mean, I think that was Duke finishing inspec, so fair enough. And maybe Duke had fingerprints? But even so, you still would have had to have had one more mission.
Yeah, there's a very early statue pickup from Duke. I wonder if this was a swap credit.
Could be.
And then a briefcase.
Yep. Maybe a bug.
Maybe
Sort
a
of
bug.
as we... I get it, but
Yeah.
either way, Nebula does find the Civ shot here, and Lev's venue pick, excuse me, is suddenly looking very, very questionable, as Lev is going to have to sweep the remainder of this venue to come out with an even scoreline going into halftime.
Yep, and if he does not, he would have to be the first player to reverse a deficit at halftime in SMC. Certainly not impossible, but an uphill battle for sure. And he will start it as General on Veranda in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So we said before that that play on Aquarium could be very tilting, and now having that Civ shot come off, I'm a little bit worried about Lev. Like, I would be very, very interested to see how he's going to respond here. I mean, we will see, but this could be a situation where we start seeing some more reckless spy plays, and those can certainly be a double-edged sword, as they can lead to some incredible plays. But against a sniper like Nebula, it can also just lead to getting you shot very, very quickly.
Well, General here, arms crossed in conversation, not looking too happy, but our selection worker comes right to us, and that gets our arms uncrossed in happiness, gets a little more loquacious, and here comes a flirt. 33% white test, ambassador at Green Books nearby, so turn that front upside down if you're Lev, because all of a sudden you can get a print, you can get a flirt, and hey, Toby's even here, you could try to get a purloin.
It's true, but with the ambassador over here as well, there's being so much attention being paid to this side of the venue, with so many guests over here as well. Like,
Big chain.
you know,
Yeah,
it's
here's the request.
yeah, it has to be a purloin here, and it's a green test. It's a green purloin as part of a huge chain. That's really good to
Banana
see.
bread.
There's a fake BB to cover as well.
Sure.
Banana bread.
2 of them. Why not?
Yeah, and there's a take. Low light on the
Banana bread.
taker.
So fade seen. And now how many lowlights? A highlight onto small men. That's very interesting. So this is a kind of very standard place to be in Veranda. You got off a good purloin, and there's still a lot of people wandering around that have a possibility here of being the target, but you still have to get 4 missions done.
Yeah, well, we're going to books here. I don't think there's a print on this book. So this is just going to have to be a microphone. As we do get joined by our seduction target, though. That's going to help a lot. Getting up to 84% on there. But we're very clearly in view for a microfilm attempt. And testing Nebula like this is going to be very tough. The camera tilts away. We could have gotten one there, but instead we just put the book back. And time is ticking down again.
Yeah, Nebula has eliminated about a third of the party. We missed the pad! Oh, we missed the pad walking past that conversation. That is not the first time we've seen a missed pad in this set, but it seemed to have survived. And now we'll be offered a drink. We will go ahead and take one. 100 seconds left in this game, and Lev, I need a little bit of help at this point to finish on time.
Yeah, I mean, the slow spy play has hurt us on Aquarium twice so far, and it's looking like this Veranda game is going to be no exception. We are going to leave and be on the move because we have to be, but this drink in hand, especially as it's fresh, is going to affect our ability to do stuff, like go to statues, for example. And we're taking down to a minute left, just the 1 mission done.
Camera shake there from Lev, not getting the entrance into the window pad that he wanted. Camera shake here from Nebula, maybe, also not getting exactly what it is that he's looking for. So, down to a minute, I would say maybe the other player happy, but Lev definitely at a disadvantage. We saw the frame not come off on Aquarium. If that's our plan here, it seems unlikely it's going to come off either. But Lev seems to lock on to Salmon taking the statue and think, hey, that's my salvation, it almost seems like.
Yeah, I agree. We polish off the drink right there, and if we're going to say we're being called, we have to go right now to go pick up that swap, but we're not going to. Wait, hang on. But that's not the right statue.
Nope, so this isn't not gonna be the swap. It's the swap anyways! We just swapped despite it. It's a white swap. 25 seconds. Nebula rotating over, but knows that's the wrong statue. And the shot onto General.
Yeah, that was just a desperation play. There was, I mean, Lev just running out of time. The clock was his enemy there, and just saying, I have to make something happen. I'm just going to swap this and see what happens. And unfortunately, what happened was the shot came off.
All right, well, that is Nebula taking a commanding lead now, 5-1, guaranteeing a lead at halftime. And now with the possibility of even extending that lead further by at least 1 game on Veranda, as he'll have the sniper side. But first, it's going to be spy side. Nebula playing as Duke, and Lev trying to come back on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, Lev needs to take some real deep breaths here and really just sort of focus. Like, as you said, this is already going to be a big hole. Like, Lev is going to be down going to halftime regardless. But there are a bunch of very sort of swingy venues that have been picked as the singles. So bringing it back is possible, but Lev is going to have to win this sniper game right here to sort of start that road back. There's a bug. Oh, it missed! It did not take!
I'm shocked that it didn't take.
Yeah, I mean, it was very clean looking, but Nebula back to his old tricks. Another green timeout here to start things off. Going to now walk away and go try and find some other mission progress elsewhere.
Yeah, we do have plenty of time now at this point. Nebula's here all by himself. I might have liked just going to a bookcase and book ripping, because no attention being paid whatsoever to the left side of this venue, and Nebula's just standing in an empty conversation, not taking advantage of it.
Yeah, Lev's selling out all the way here on Toby and the Ambassador, but as you say, not going to take advantage of it. We're going to force our way into this conversation circle here. Veranda CCs are confusing at best, but Nebula makes it work, so we can pick up some flirt progress and pick up a banana bread. But that time ad early on really paying dividends already.
We saw some exceptional play from Sauerkraut this morning, punishing some positions in conversation from Lazy Bear. Veranda, of course, another place where you can try that, but it's so hard to see where people actually are in conversation. It doesn't look like Lev is confident enough to do that in terms of where Nebula is standing. We will go to Green Books, pick something up here. Still 3:15 on the clock, but if we just put this back innocently, we're going to be in a little bit of a pacing hole. There it goes. And Nebula was willing to do two time ads in his previous Spy game to lead to a Spy victory, so we could be seeing that again, but still just burning time in an empty conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe we were hoping that somebody would come to the windows and give us that cover again that we saw in the last Spy game. But either way, like, Nebula, as a Spy, I'm never worried about seeing him time out. Like, the ending of his games, especially the end game for his Spy games, is always very well thought out and seems very polished and smooth, regardless of what sort of time pressure he's been in throughout the game thus far. So I'm not worried about Nebula getting into trouble here.
Alright, well, here comes 2 minutes 20 ramping up. We do have Flirt done, but that is it so far, and we're just talking up a storm in this conversation. I feel like Nebula's waiting for something, but I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I'm not either. The way Toby's gonna come over and offer, we're just going to take. No Purloin to be seen here. Nebula is idling. We're gonna go pick up a print now, finally. But I wonder if we're seeing if Lev, with a commanding lead, if Lev is just going to misshoot again.
Well, we pick up a print. Not going to be a briefcase return, it looks like, so we'll just have to put this down. And Ambassador is leaving a print on this statue, so we could come back to that at some point.
Yeah, we've been so inactive thus far, though. Like, that was really our first sort of affirmative spy-like play, picking up that briefcase. So you gotta think that we can't be very high on Lev's radar at this point. There's a banana bread, it's real, and it's going to let off a bunch of lowlights. Actually, only 3.
We tried taking a bug right when that Ambassador was walking out after that contact. It doesn't happen. But
Yeah,
it's
the
a
wrong
nice
path,
idea.
unfortunately. Yeah, I like it. If the Ambassador had chosen a different path, then that would have worked out.
Still
Down to a
2
minute,
prints
though.
available back here.
Yeah, I think that we're going to wait for the Ambassador to leave, and just so there's a little bit less attention on it as we finish those prints. But now under a minute, still a long ways to go. Another attempt at that bug.
Sure. I mean, it's super hard to see from the angle that Lev is taking, so I don't mind so much. Oh, here comes the Purloin. Green Purloin.
Yeah, time ticking down. We just decided we need to get the mission progress. We're going to Purloin. We could print swap.
Here's the print.
Yep,
There's
there's
the
the swap. And now we just need the Purloin to be taken. But this is the problem with green tests. It could win. Lev swinging all the way over to see the statue.
Yeah, fine.
And the shot will come off. Yep.
Nice job from Lev kind of catching up to that.
If that had been a green test, though, and both of those were pending, the confusion for Lev would have been immense, especially if both of those came off pretty simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the plan for sure.
Yeah, it's just a little unfortunate that the timing doesn't quite work out. If the Purloin had happened maybe a little bit earlier and Lev had to focus on it, or if the swap had been green, or just any number of things had been slightly different, I think it goes better for Nebula. But that is Lev stabilizing. So back to 5-2. If Lev can somehow find a spy win here, playing as Plane Twin, then there's a chance to come back. I think 6-2 is going to be much, much harder. So let's see what he has in mind on his double of Veranda in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I mean, thus far the theme of Left Spy, not to keep harping on it, has just been sort of pacing issues, frankly. We saw it on the Aquarium games, and then we saw it really, really badly on the last Veranda game. So I really need to see Lev take some aggressive plays here, whether, even if they're maybe not, perfect. I think that this needs to happen here for Lev in order to sort of maybe just get back into this mentally.
3:45 on the clock as we go for this briefcase. So that'll be our first print. Laser will sweep over towards us just to acknowledge that it was seen. And a low light onto our sibling who I think was an SDA.
Yep, that looks like a good put down. So that's early progress. You like to see it, especially given what I was talking about. But I would like to see Lev get some flirt progress here, some other just sort of steady mission progress in general. And we will, but across the conversation circle from our seduction target.
Yeah, we haven't even pulled the flirt yet. Laser is staring down this side of the venue because there's really nothing on the right-hand side. There's a green test, 36, so that's pretty good. But 3 minutes left on the clock. There's so much focus on this side of the venue.
Yeah, there is. And especially now that Toby and the Ambassador are here, I mean, you know, there's really no reason for Nebula to be paying any attention to the far side. But that's going to make it really, real difficult for Lev to get anything done here.
There will be a briefcase available. Looks like Cowboy, is going to go for it. So, no print for us. We're going to go finish one more flirt, and then I guess try to come up with a plan for how to spend the second half of the timer.
Yep, absolutely. And, you know, that's perfectly fine. 70% flirt at this point in the game is perfectly fine. But we gotta get some more stuff done, whether that's even just going and getting some inspects here. Like, it seems like Lev is just kind of intimidated by Nebula's sniper and is unwilling to do anything that might put him on his radar whatsoever.
Coming up on 2 minutes on the clock, this bug is being watched extremely carefully, so no chance for it. So Lev will leave conversation.
And we pick up the immediate highlight for going and picking up these inspects.
Yeah, I mean, very reasonable. So there's 2 inspects done. 90 seconds left in this game. Very concerned.
Yeah, much concern, very wow. But we do have paths to get a bunch of partial mission progress done. Like, we have these 3 partial missions done and Banana Bread still available to us. So if we can find that as we go into finish flirt here, well, that's flirt done. I mean, one more, and we could get like an inspect fingerprint swap finish conceivably if the Ambassador helps us out a little bit. But we're not making anything happen here, and that's the problem. Lev is just sort of relying on the party to give him stuff. The Ambassador does go to statues, though. We need to find a Banana Bread, though, in order to make this happen.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Double Agent is in conversation, so that's possible. I take it back. Double Agent leaves.
But the Double Agent could be coming to us. The party could be finally giving it. No, the Double Agent is going to walk away and go pick up the briefcase instead. Banana Bread might be off the table at this point.
It's even worse.
It's the statue. Double Agent is really just going to be the worst possible at this point for us. So Lev needs to go to Plan C. It's a request. It's going to be a purloin. It's a green purloin, and that's all well and good. But we might be betting this game on a green difficult fingerprint again.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 missions done. There's a fake contact. Double Agent, of course, not available. And, I mean, we're going to statues, some safety off flashes, but we can't finish here.
Yeah, we don't even have to print here. It doesn't even matter. Nebula having none of it all over us, basically from the start of that play. And that's halftime.
Yeah, that is rough for Lev. Couple of Veranda games that, you know, if we just had maybe a little bit more time, we might have had a chance, but, well, we didn't. All right, well, Grosh, I mean, let us bring you back here. Nebula 6-2 looking very good. Tell us a little bit about what we saw in the first half of this match.
Yeah, I think the first half of this match has been very interesting. I think there were a number of situations on the games in Aquarium where Nebula was able to show off some fun aquarium tech and also some pathing tech. It was happening a bit on Veranda too, and in a more subtle way. I think Nebula not wanting to be super obvious about the small things that might be seeing, but there were some paths into statues that I think to Nebula would have looked very off. And so I think right now Nebula just looking very strong, and especially on the sniper side, while Lev, I agree with Sped, has been having a bit of trouble with pacing. And I think it's tough when you're playing as Nebula and really feeling like you're getting stared down. And then there's been some bad AI luck too. I wanted to show off this highlight game just in that I think it encapsulates some of the interesting things that have been going on. with a Nebula game on Alice on Veranda, and so you can play it when you're ready. And so we're in this situation, right? Nebula earlier on had done a microfilm in a lone conversation behind another conversation. And so we've already done that first one, and then we get a second one that was under pretty good cover too. And what's interesting about this game is that we go for some time ads, but it just turns out that AI luck is pretty against Lev here. Duke has been very active this game, has already done a set of inspects and was talking early when he went back to another conversation. And so I think Nebula was in a position where they were in a very good spot in that I don't think this microphone was very suspected. But Lev will go for kind of an early shot on Duke here in response to crediting this time ad, as well as Duke finishing inspects and also just talking like an AI. So I think if Lev is going to come back and win in this second half, they're really going to need to be a little bit more patient on some of these bigger venues, especially on Library here. They're going to need in some way to not get found out as easily on the spy side on Courtyard and on Library, where there is some pathing tech that I'm not sure if Lev is super familiar. Oh, and of course Modern too. So I do think that this is a situation that may be bleak for Lev if Nebula is on their game, especially with their pathing tech, because I think all three of these, Courtyard, Modern, and Library, are going to be pretty dangerous if there are some subtle cues again for Nebula to pick up. But I think if Lev can kind of claw back and be a little bit more patient, that's what they're really going to need to bring this back and hopefully tie it up or get close.
Gosh, I'm very disappointed in you for erasing balcony pathing tech from what's important to watch, but I forgive you this once.
I do think that there is some interesting pathing tech on balcony. I just think that it is less easy to take advantage of it sometimes. But if we see it, I'll be very excited too, Sped.
I accept.
All right, well, it's time to get into that second half of the game. Lev going to need to go 6-2 in the bottom 8 just to bring this back to a draw. And Nebula, of course, only 3 games away from going undefeated in SMC Champions groups. So all to play for. It looks to me like it's going to be Nebula starting off on the spy side as Rocker on Courtyard 3 of 7 in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right. So Courtyard was an interesting pick here, especially what we call the Snipe Arcade layout. It's definitely a big change of pace from the first 2 large venues that we saw earlier. And really, we haven't seen much in the way of 3 of X's from either of these players so far during SMC, and really not so much during SMC at all, period.
No, we really haven't. Courtyard 3 of 7 has been very unpopular. And of course, it was also Lev's Restrict, so Nebula simply picking into the Restrict. In this case, we do pick up a White Flirt, 34%. That's not great on this setup, obviously, but we'll see what Nebula's able to make happen. The tray comes all the way around on a request from us, so let's see what Nebula's plan is here. Just going to be a take. Is this fingerprintable?
I don't think so. We just take the drink. Nebula might be just banking on a Civ shot here.
That would be very interesting. If that's the case, I'd be looking for a really good banana bread, and this was kind of one of them. Lev, Sniper, not happy, and you can't take that low light onto wheels. It just looks so weird.
It does. Wheels things are strange, for sure. We're waiting, though. We're just standing here and talking in this innocent conversation. And the lower time ticks, the more likely it is that we are just going for the Civ shot play. We're going to walk away as the double agent comes to join us. Selection target is in this conversation circle, but so either we're going to have to do a whole lot real fast and probably not get Flirt done at this point, or we're going to have to do some sort of nifty frame play.
The contact here is so good. It's so weird that Nebula's not taking it. We take this statue instead. It's a quick swap, quick put down. And a quick
We're off camera.
runaway.
We were off camera. We were seen walking away from statue, but we were not seen at the statue. And now we're going to go for the flirt here, 85%, but 45 seconds. This is going to be a race against the clock here for Nebula.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, if you can finish...
Banana bread.
Absolutely. You just go finish this flirt. 32 seconds left, and it's going to be very hard for Lev to take this shot.
Yeah, if Lev doesn't have some suspicion about that swap, like, Lev has not even shown any indication that he noticed the swap, never mind us walking away from it as it happened.
No, here's
Now's the moment of
win.
truth. And Lev just rotating the camera around. I don't see it. Wait, safety off here on Irish, but not on us. And either way, Nebula is going to win this game.
Such a weird party. You had so few people going to statues at that point on that, like, Lev doesn't even bother to rotate and look to see if the statues are still what they're supposed to be. Nebula gets away with going to statues off camera, and I was a little bit worried here at the end that we're going to be found out. The rotation starts to come in right here.
Yeah, we're seen walking away from the pad, but there's enough plausible deniability, and Lev doesn't even rotate over to actually check the statue itself.
Yeah, it's not visible. That's as far as we get. So Nebula comes away with a bit of a scam win on Courtyard 3 of 7. But, I mean, if you're playing Courtyard 3 of 7, that's the kind of play you want to see. Very interesting that Nebula, never makes any
Banana
effort to
bread.
think about doing inspects. He's very confident he was not seen at statues, and so figures, well, going back to statues is just a complete bad idea at this point. No interest in doing a silent game. Just takes the contact and win.
Yep, absolutely. Well, 2 wins away, 1 win away from locking up at least the tie here.
And 1 win away with a tie, Nebula will be guaranteed first, I believe, coming out of this. I guess that's not true. Lev could still defeat the 2 other people in the group. So Nebula is 1 win away from guaranteed out of groups, and 2 wins away, of course, from going undefeated. And Lev is going to be on the spy side, playing as Pearls. Nebula on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yep. At this point, it feels like Lev is just playing to get as many points on the board as possible for tiebreaker purposes. But look at these camera shakes from Lev right off the bat here. I talked earlier about sort of the mental fortitude required, and I hope that this doesn't mean that the tilt is real.
I hope not, especially on Courtyard 3 of 7, because Courtyard 3 of 7, like, anything can happen. You have somebody go to statues, you can contact frame them, and then you can win the game. Lev has to recognize that he's playing Nebula, who's
Banana bread.
in a very good position to just run away as undefeated in groups, which means basically, sort of, kind of, none of the games against Nebula matter, right? It's sort of the 3 other people in the group playing for second.
Disney just sunshines us as we step in for the conversation circle right next to him. Like, we have seen a lot of really bad AI luck as we go for this briefcase inside the tree here, the topiary, as it were. It is a difficult fingerprint, though. We haven't seen very good luck from Lev in hitting those, but there's one, finally.
Yep, love to see that. That's one difficult print. The only issue is a difficult print on the briefcase is often going to be known and credited anyways. Are we gonna miss this flirt again? No, Disney is going to stay.
I would have been tilted just watching if Disney had walked away again immediately.
Minute 15 on the clock as Ambassador leaves a print at statues, and Lev is aware. So that is absolutely something that we could try to take advantage of. But we want a timer
time's
flirt
ticking
first, I
down.
think.
Yeah, I really don't like this play, though. Like, this is not a situation where you can really sort of rest on your laurels and get this timer flirt. Like, we're going to try here, and that's all well and good. That's going to leave us with, what, 20 seconds to find a print?
And it's not going to be easy because both of these prints have now been smudged, the briefcase and the statue. Here's the flirt. It is green, so that's 100% done. If we can find a print, we'll be in a great spot. But now the briefcase is fully clean. This statue is difficult, and you don't want to go to statues anyways at this point.
No, I think we might have to just call Toby and pray for a green. Like, what else can you do at this point? We are going to walk away, though. Do we just go inspect in the last 20 seconds? Like, this is just such a spy-like play. And we're going to do it. We're going to pick up the highlight. No shot yet, but I bet if nothing else happens
It's
here,
a
we're just going to
print.
get shot for it. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Nebula staring us down. Will a shot come off with 5 seconds left? Safety
Overtime,
off.
I think
Just
it will.
flashes.
No
But
shot!
no!
Out of time!
Lev will get away with it, and we have a spy party here on Courtyard.
Wow. And Nebula, I mean, it looks like wanting to take that shot. I'm almost surprised that we don't. I wonder if what happened here is that Nebula was assuming that there would be inspect timing, and so would have more time to shoot in overtime, and not recognizing this was not an inspect finish, but a print finish.
Yeah, maybe, but this is Pearls. I mean, Pearls can get that done pretty easily. I mean, yeah, maybe he thought he had a little bit more time on overtime, but either way, that's rough.
That is such a game of margins if it's the case, and it means Lev is still alive in this game, if you can believe it. If we can sweep the last 7 games in a row. I mean, look, anything is possible.
It's true. It absolutely is.
Just one game at a time. Well, Nebula's not going to make it easy. Going to blend in here on Modern, playing as Salmon. This was, of course, Nebula's Restrict after Lev split his own Restrict. Lev on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I mean, this was a Restrict, but... And we did see a ban of Modern against Rav as well. So, you know, it's not like I don't think at this point that any venue is, like, foreign to Nebula, but it certainly might be one where he's less comfortable than others, like Aquarium, for example.
We will get a single inspect as Ambassador blocked the other one, but as recompense, we'll get the print off of this briefcase. So Nebula with some strong early progress. We have the Delegate Cheese, a single inspect, a single flirt as we return this briefcase. And now the question is, what is our plan going to be to make use of all of that partial progress?
Well, the joy of having all that partial progress is that we can kind of sit and do nothing for a little while to sort of hopefully... Oh, we're just going to delegate. Okay. Good. Good. And that's been a pretty busy bar, too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to come off. We cheesed this at the very beginning of the game. It looks like it will, though.
Well...
No, I don't think it will. I think it's going to run out. Yep. No chance for this Purloin.
Yep, unfortunate, but it is at least more bar activity, and that will just draw more attention from Lev. We're going to go to the statue over here in the corner now, and with everything over there, it's going to be pick up this print and pick up the inspect. I would almost expect to see sort of a swap here, just based on how aggressively Nebula has played, but we'll refrain right now at least, and instead go walk away. So that's fingerprint done. That's a mission completed already.
Yeah, that's really nice. The only thing that's making me a little bit nervous about this is the 0% flirt. If we see some dynamic lighting coming off from Lev after all these bar highlights, another Delegate Cheese to get a flirt.
Yep, I think we just rejected there.
I think
but
you're
either
right.
way, yep, we pick up the 51% flirt, and that alleviates some of the concerns that you just had.
Yep, feel much better now. Nebula realizing he'll get offered again, may as well take the later Delegate instead of the earlier one to give more time if he decides to fire it. 2 minutes on the clock. We have partial inspects, partial flirt, Delegate in pocket. I mean, it's looking very good for Nebula.
Yeah, if the party aligns for us, we could finish right now. You know, I'm certainly assuming that we're not going to, and with 100 seconds left, and that we're going to cuck this clock a little bit more, especially with the seduction target over literally as far away on the venue as possible from us. But, well, there's the Delegate going off, and it's another semi-full bar. Pro slams the book and then goes to the bar. So if Lev is aware, Lev knows something is afoot.
It's still going to be a long time before Pearls gets offered, and I'm not sure this is going to come off.
Yeah, we will pick up another flirt though, and that's great, but books now. Here we go again. This has to be a direct transfer too, I think. I don't think we have time for really microfilm sort of animations. It looks like this is just going to be a bookshelf to bookshelf maybe, and hope that our highlight blends into the crowd now. Or we'll just put the book back, never mind.
Yeah, we want to pick up this flirt, I guess. So we go back to this statue set a third time for Nebula. If we go for a swap here...
It's being watched, and it's a green test, but look at this, rotated all the way over to check that statue.
It's a
Lev
bad feeling for
staring
Nebula.
us down. Yeah, this feels real bad for sure. And we're not even done. This isn't even finishing it for us. We still need one more mission.
Yeah, Lev, I mean, turning it up. Okay, here comes the contact. And now the statue is pending, actually. It's been swapped. Is Lev aware? It's not on screen. We look so carefully, but now we're not looking. Smallman swapped the statue. It's seen swapped, maybe, but where's the shot? A shot comes off at random. It doesn't even happen. And Nebula, after that rotation, it seems so clear, has locked up a draw on this game.
Wow. The distraction power of that banana bread was incredible. Like, for that one mission, it basically won the game because it distracted Lev so much.
Yeah, I mean, we rotated. We really believed, I think, in the swap, and then we just gave it up on the green. And that means that Nebula has secured a draw in this match and is one game away, a single game, from going undefeated in the SpyParty Masters Championship group stage. And it all comes down to the next 5 games, 5 match points for Nebula, playing as Orange Sari in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, Lev starting things off as one of the slower characters here on Modern, which is one of the bigger venues. Bold choice. And once again, Lev off to a slow start. Just sort of sitting here in the empty conversation circle on the far side of the venue. I just hate to say it, but it feels like history is repeating a little bit.
And the question now is Lev going to look for another frame? We've tried a couple of those, and they haven't really seemed to have paid off. So, you know, some kind of rush here from Lev might be attractive. Of course, you know, we've seen Nebula able to shoot those as well. You know, when you're playing against a sniper like this, I mean, you gotta try a little bit of everything and hope that something sticks. But okay, 3.5 minutes on the clock, still plenty of time, but 0, parentheses 0 mission progress.
Yeah, like, I said it last time on Veranda, but I would love to see Lev just do some sort of aggressive spy play and dare Nebula to shoot. Like, you know, it's not going to be a high percentage play necessarily, but we have not seen the frames paying off at all. We've seen some sick holds from Nebula, aided by lowlights on the frame targets, but, like, at this point, if you're Lev, and especially staring down at this point in the game, in the match rather, you have to kind of just force the action, I think. And obviously that's easier said than done against a sniper like Nebula, but you know, what else can you do?
2 minutes 40 coming up on the clock. We go for a fake contact. It's unfortunately real for us with an SDA. Gonna let off quite a few low lights. But
I don't know if that was supposed to be an action priority, like that might have been supposed to be a flirt as we got bailed on, but either way, Lev clearly not happy about it.
Yeah, and I sympathize. I mean, you're here, it feels like nothing you're doing is working out the way you want it to. We go for a bug behind the ambassador.
That's a bug. I think that was visible. But no shots coming off.
Not yet. It's a green swap, too.
Alright, Lev making things happen. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, this is match point, so I think this kind of change-up is really great. Now 1:56 on the clock. We're still not highlight for anything. We could go in for a contact at this point, and we could go for the briefcase on top of it. Unfortunately, it's a white test, so that's not going to happen. Twin takes the... yep, safety off flash,
Safety off.
And Nebula secures the game. Nebula
Not
secures...
even waiting for the swap.
Nope, just all over it, knows exactly what's going on. And Nebula goes undefeated in SMC groups.
I mean, this is one of the most impressive stretches of play I've ever seen from any player. I mean, we talked about Rov's undefeated stretch earlier this year, but this is against the very best of the best, and Nebula has looked pretty much dominating. Like, at no point has he looked like these sets were out of his control. It's been incredible to watch.
All right, now, the tournament's, of course, not over for Lev by any stretch. So Nebula has now gone undefeated in this group. We're just going to pop back to the bracket here for a second because none of the other games in this group have happened yet. So basically, all 3 of the remaining players have lost to Nebula. So at this point, it just comes down to a battle for second and tiebreak points. So Lev should be thinking, okay, well, this doesn't knock me out of bracket. Everyone in the group has lost to Nebula. I need to get as many games here as I possibly can so that I can survive whatever horrible tiebreak scenario happens with the remaining 3 and then worry about the next match. So there is still everything here for Lev to play for. And it's going to start off on a library with Nebula playing as Duke and Lev on the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yep, and I would point out as well, there is even third place to play for, as there is that prize money available for the third place finisher in each group.
All right, well, Library, we've seen very low spy win rates on Library, but we'll see what Nebula is able to accomplish. Of course, when you're playing on this hot streak, you may suddenly find a lot more options available, but we're just kind of wandering around for now.
Yeah, I mean, Library can be sort of a sneaky spy's playground with all the pillars available, and we've already seen Nebula reading Lev's laser very well earlier on. There's a bug behind the pillar. We walk away, but it's seen. The shot will come off. Very nice find from Lev.
Yeah, the arm just sticks out way too far, and the sniper movement there from Lev made me a little nervous, but we find the shot anyways. No big deal. And hey, Lev takes the sniper win on Library in just about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a huge moral victory and like a big confidence booster going to the rest of this. Like those quick sniper wins where someone tries something tricksy and you just sort of shut it down, feels good.
It's also just a little bit of a mental break. Like, you don't have to camp against Nebula on Library for 5 minutes. Which, like, honestly, is a lot of effort in a long set. Nebula is very used to playing long sets, and so anything you can do to try to keep up with the just physical exertion is going to be worth it. And now Lev has a chance to play on the spy side, bringing out Alice again in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I mean, Lev going to the window here, we're getting some early chime ads, and very into that. We're not going to do multiple though, we're just going to do the one and then walk away here in the chaos. And I have to imagine that we got away with that pretty much freely.
I think
there's the bug though. I don't know if we got away with that one freely, because we are highlit after that bug.
Yeah, again, I don't mind it. I think taking these kinds of bugs on Library especially, where you know there's going to be laser delay, you know there's always that possibility that you get away with something and that just wins you the game. Okay, we're a highlight, but like, there are a bunch of highlights wandering around. This is not necessarily a big deal, and we still have 5 minutes to play with.
Yeah, a lot of lowlights coming off though. As Crash pointed out, the pathing lowlights here on Library are pretty much second to none. So if this game goes on, this is going to be a very narrowed down party from Nebula's point of view.
We're going to request a drink, take the purloin. Yep, it's a green test, and this is looking pretty good so far.
Banana bread.
Here's the banana bread to cover, and then we walk away. This is like a semi-split, but I don't think we get rewarded. There's the fade as well.
Was it even seen? Was the list seen missing, or did we pan away so quickly? I'm not sure that we saw the list start disappearing. Now it's gone.
It is gone, and Wheels was seen as the taker. Here come the lowlights coming off. Will we be one?
I'm not sure Nebula is as on top of this as he would like. Now, we have the bug and the purloin and the contact done. We have 0% flirt. So the flirt, I think, is the big issue at the moment, but we have 4 minutes, so we have plenty of time to start making it happen.
Yeah, but even so, we have no partial progress in either statues or prints. Ambassador's gonna help us out by going to them, but it feels like finishing either of them will also get a shot here, given what I think is fairly strong bug suspicion.
3.5 minutes on the clock, only 20-some% flirt, so gonna need some help there. But I mean, the question is, as Lev, are you feeling bold enough to just go pick up that statue that the ambassador just put down?
If I'm Lev, I'm letting that cook for a while. Not just because that's sort of been Lev's MO, but also just because, like, we've been so active thus far and presumably have some suspicion from Lev's point of view. Like, it would feel very, very aggressive now to go pick up that statue right here, right now.
Smallman gets the low light. We are down to, I believe it's 6 suspects. But we do hit a green flirt, that'll help. We could use another one of those if we can get it. And is Lev just going to timer flirt this entire thing out?
We have the time for it. That early time ad. I mean, even without that, we would still be okay. But with that early time ad, we can just sit here and wait, assuming Sorry will help us out with that. But no, if we're going center statues, yeah, and the shot immediately comes off.
Yeah, Nebula picks that one up. I think maybe a little bit unhappy with that path into statue, the little wiggle there at the end. I think it's the kind of thing that's enough for Lev to confirm a shot that he already wanted to take.
Yep, I would absolutely agree with you. That is not a legal path, and Nebula having absolutely none of it.
So an unfortunate way for Lev to take the bullet in that game, but we kind of gotten away with some stuff earlier in the game, and it's library, it's spy side, you can't get too upset with that.
No, but we are going to balcony to finish things off, so, you know, Nebula has not been a big fan of balcony historically, but at this point, up 10-4 with the set already in the bag, who knows what could happen.
All right, well, here we come into Nebula's final spy game of SMC groups, and it will be as Pearls. Lev getting a chance to play on the sniper side of balcony in 3, 2, 1, playing it. We're just gonna start in the middle of the conversation. We decide to walk away. We don't want to be there.
Yeah, a little nodding from the camera here as Nebula not a huge fan of that start, but that's okay. And we pick up a highlight for it.
That's super interesting. I don't know why we would have earned that highlight, but we do receive it.
I mean, it's entirely possible that we were seen in the middle and stationary, and then the walkaway was seen after that sort of short pause. But yeah, we're now playing, looking to be as unspy-like as possible, not getting any mission progress very, very obviously here. And we'll just look for a good banana bread.
Yeah, we go for this case as well. I mean, if Nebula's trying to fish for some lowlights here, it is as a fake lowlight comes off from Lev.
Yep. You'll love to see it for sure. Smallman picks up a highlight, and if you're Nebula, you love to see that, but this feels like Nebula's in serious trouble here.
Waiting for Nebula to do something, anything, and it's just not happening.
Nope, not so much. And Lev doesn't seem very inclined at all to pay attention to the rest of this party, as Nebula is now going to take an innocent drink, with, of course, every drink being innocent in this balcony setup. Down to 30 seconds. We need to go find a banana bread and hope somebody else gets shot instead of us. Small man's gonna leave, though.
I'm so curious what prompted this highlight and this tunnel, but it's a good one. Oh, and the SIP BB does not work out.
Yeah. I like the thought, but right in the sniper's face, that's not going to work very often.
Not at all. All right, well, that means that Lev has earned that spy win on balcony. Very happy with that. And now we head into the final game of this match. And Nebula's final game of groups, Lev on the spy side playing as Irish, and Nebula on the sniper. Lev looking just to pick up one more game to help with tie breaks in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yep, we are going to get reward. Nope, never mind. That might be too
Purloin
far for a flirt here.
Purloin is on.
Purloin is on, but no Purloin to start things off at least. We will pick up the green flirt from a distance, 35%. And we were joined by Sorry instead of the other way around, so that could pay benefits down the line. But I wonder if we're not just going to see a Purloin banana bread. Like, now is the time for banana bread. Everybody's in conversation.
Yeah, it's not happening, which is very interesting. And I wonder if it not happening plants a little bit of suspicion onto people that are being offered by Toby, on the theory that they would not want to contact right then. We just go for the flirt, though, so 63%, an unfortunate number. We'll need a green to finish things off, and we leave. We don't go for the briefcase. Ooh, that's a little bit dicey.
Yeah. Honestly, if I'm Nebula, I'm real suspicious right now. I know something is up. And I'm really wondering what is going on. 97% on the flirt.
We're low
no.
Lit. We're low
We're
lit.
low lit.
And here comes
here's
the contact.
banana bread finally. It's letting off 2 lowlights, but
It looks like Nebula's not sure about this low light.
If I'm Nebula, I hate everything that's happening in this party right now. This is so gross.
Lev's camera indicating some similar feelings, but all we need is a flirt. And we're going to get a chance at some point. We should just take this drink at this point. Yep, there it is. We just take a drink. No problem comes off.
Yep, we're going to leave. I don't know if we can get this one off. Nope.
Oh, no.
Sorry, walks away.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that conversation leave. Now we have probably not problems. Problems is probably overstating it, but we wish we hadn't done that.
That's an ugly path as well. Now at this point, there's going to be overtime.
There is, but I can't imagine us getting shot at this point. We do have to take the flirt, though, before time runs out. Okay, there we go.
Can Nebula shoot a low light?
It's not going to happen this time. And Lev takes the final game and sweeps Balcony, finishing the set off 10-6 versus Nebula.
Really good recovery from Lev, honestly. Like, that could very easily have crumbled after that first half, and after Courtyard as well, after Nebula had gone up, what was it, like 8-1 or something?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, really good recovery from Lev to bring it back, and 10-6 is a very respectable scoreline given the other results that we've seen. So yeah, Lev still with everything to play for moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Lev split the back 8 of this set. I think anybody's got to be happy with that. And okay, you know, the doubles didn't go your way, but you know, really great games to both players. And of course, congratulations to Nebula for going undefeated in groups, guaranteed first out of groups. We'll be facing whoever is in first in our top group, which of course will be Lazy Bear, Mean York, Opie Wrights, or Sauerkraut. Lazy Bear may have been mathematically eliminated from first in groups, but it will be Nebula playing, second in that group. So that still, I think, could be anybody. All right. Well, that is our set for today and our sets for the weekend. So thanks, everybody, for watching. We, of course, had 3 this weekend. We'll probably have one more for you maybe during the week, but we will finish everything up in the next 7 days or so. So until we do, of course, good luck to all the players. Still many more games to be played. And we'll see you here next time. Thank you, Garash, for joining us with the analysis.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And thank you, Sped Monkey, for casting with me.
As always, my pleasure.
All right. We'll see you here next time. Everyone, take care.